Hey, everybody else. All right, it is January 7th, 5 p.m. I'll call the meeting of the Village Trustees to order. Any agenda adjustments?
I've got one, which would actually be an action item, so you'd actually have to vote on this. I propose you add 8A, which is a very small modification to the lease termination for the cell tower at Copley. It's a different company buying it from the country club, so the authorization you gave me to sign is with a different name, so it's pretty simple, but it would require you to actually act for your vote. And the motion would be to add item 8A to the modification to the lease termination.
Well, has the hospital signed it with the server?
I believe they are going to, I just heard from our attorney today for this, from the, one of our respective copies of that a different company's buying it.
Do I hear a motion? Oh, sorry.
No, go ahead, let's just clarify.
Motion to amend
Agenda.
the lease.
No, just
Add it to the
agenda. Agenda item 8A for the lease termination.
Okay, motion to add
8A.
8A to the agenda for the lease modification for the cell tower at the Gardens.
Second. Any further discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Thank you
Aye.
all.
Passes. Next item is public comment.
We see Jamie's on the line. Jamie, was there anything you want to talk about tonight?
Nope, just listening, thanks.
Perfect, thank you.
All right, next item on the agenda is the meeting minutes from December 17th.
Motion to accept the meeting minutes from December 17th.
Second.
Motion's been made, seconded. Further discussion? No discussion? All those in favor of passing the agenda of the meeting minutes as written?
Aye.
Aye. Aye,
Aye.
passed. Next item is check register.
I'll make a motion to accept the check register.
Do you have any questions,
You'll second.
Oh, sorry.
I'll second.
Okay, is there any discussion?
do you have any
I've
questions?
had one, I don't remember what it was.
I did just notice, there's a large dollar amount for, Energy Resources Group. That was for the final payout of the Katy Falls vertical unit that was damaged with the 2024 flood. We had received insurance proceeds on that, so we paid the rest of that balance off.
Who's Fairbanks Millwork?
That's the contractor doing, what did they do for you on hydro?
I did the penstock inspection,
Oh, okay. Inspection or repair?
yeah, but well, so it's tried to repair and inspected the whole length of it as well.
Do they have anything to do with the Fairbanks Morse Corporation up here?
I don't believe so,
No.
no, that was CJ.
Do you find a question, Carl?
I think it was the one Bob did, actually. So this is good. Yes. Further discussion? All right, those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion passes. Next item on the action menu is meeting schedule for 2026.
You might want to actually have a little discussion before we make a motion on this one, put it on the board, since I proposed two different ones for you. I gave you one that would be more your traditional meeting schedule twice a month. And I gave you one that's more once a month to acknowledge that you're probably gonna have a lot of special meetings to be in dialogue with Hardwick if these dialogues about possible collaborations and mergers are gonna go forward. So just in acknowledgement of that, I proposed one that, other than this month, as one a month, to try to blend that all, from an action item perspective. I don't see that as an issue if we ever need a special meeting, because she had 14,000 documents that needed to be signed, we could have a special meeting that was basically 20 minutes to do that, but
Can we modify the new schedule?
we can do whatever you
Well,
want.
I'm thinking, I'm gonna be out of town the first 2 weekends in July.
We
Then
can,
you got a meeting on
we
July.
can definitely, whichever, you know, we can, whichever of the two models you want, you can then also change whatever date you want. And it's your meeting, it doesn't have to be on Wednesdays, you know,
Okay.
we've had it on Wednesdays, it doesn't have to be at 5:30. You know, it can be whatever you guys want. Right,
I just assume keep them at 5:30
okay.
and
Once a month,
Does Wednesdays work for you?
Wednesday's fine.
Yeah,
so,
so it would be the optional schedule that I put in if you wanted to make a motion, then we can change the July date.
yeah,
Brad, you have any comment on that, or?
No, I'm fine with either way you guys decide to go is fine with me.
Okay. So, we wanna make a motion?
I'll make a motion to, change the meeting schedule to the new one, we meet once a month. But I'd like to,
Want the 15th in July?
not have it on July 1st,
You want it the 15th, that would be the 3rd.
okay?
So that would be the July 15th instead of July 1.
Second. Second. Further discussion? All those in favor?
Uh,
Aye. Motion passes.
Thank you all.
Next item on the agenda is 20-year loan Pace Falls turbine restoration.
Okay, so as you may recall, we were in the process of rebuilding Katie Falls when, it was Beryl that hit 2024 flood. But we did have, construction loan out there, and we had drawn down $470,615.34 on that note. The note is coming due, and at this point, we can turn that into an actual capital note, and so the bank has given us the terms of 20 years, 5.83%. The monthly payment of $3,321.57. What, we need to move that, did we do that yet?
are there any prepayment penalties with this?
Yeah. Is that
So,
removed?
no, we did not.
Sorry, I don't.
Alright. Somebody wanna make a motion, and then we have a discussion.
Let's see, make a motion to move. To approve the capital improvement note resolution for capital improvement borrowing and the tax certificate as presented by the Green Bank.
Just two, and we don't, I don't believe we have a tax certificate, I
Was
don't.
in the second.
Yeah, Bob?
It was in the first one, but not the second. Oh, I don't think we need it.
All right, we don't need the tax certificate then. Tom made the motion, who's seconding it?
Yeah.
Yeah, a second.
Yeah, I'll make a motion to avert,
He made a motion, you just need a second.
I'll second it.
So, further discussion.
So, yeah, so no, there is no prepayment penalty.
Brad.
Penny, I have
Yes,
that 5.73 or whatever,
5.83.
isn't that kind of high? And it's they
That
can,
is the current
that-
rate. Yep, that we're getting.
okay, and they can increase that if their tax position, federal government changes?
No, they can't change the rate at this point.
Oh,
It's
okay.
gonna be, it's a fixed note.
Oh, all right. I thought it said something about if their tax status changes because of federal regulation, IRS regulation, that they could change that rate. I
Yeah.
misunderstood.
No, you know what, Brad, that did actually come up at a prior note, and I think. There was some question, and I vaguely remember talking to the bank representative. And what she said is, yeah, it could, but they've never, ever done it, so.
Okay.
You know, we are tax exempt, and because of that, we do get a slightly better rate.
Okay, thank you, Penny.
Was all the back, it does show that. That's why I was asking, it shows
Yeah.
the whole thing.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I remember somebody questioning that in the past,
And Brad, I can tell you, I've seen some notes in a couple of other utilities of late, the 5.83 is right in line.
Thank you.
Yeah,
Okay.
Penny, it looked like there was a couple of documents that we have to sign here. Can you?
There are,
They
so-
don't have to do with that.
Correct.
Because it's like- it's the
I
version-
asked her to resend me
the
all of the
version we gave
updated
them in
documents.
the packet, had the packet, just so you.
And so again, what she gave me was just to get us something prior to the meeting. And then she sent it off to the lawyer. They went back and forth, and then today they gave me the final draft, which I don't believe much of it changed. I know one thing he mentioned was, that it's not, a revenue obligation, it was a general obligation. Or vice versa, I can't remember now, but they made that little tweak in there. But so there's the capital improvement borrowing, and then there is. But you need to sign the application itself, but hold on. That's page, oh, there is another page, sheet. This, that's. It is. The tax certificate. Capital improvement note. So I believe there are 3 documents that you need to sign. And then Sarah Haskins has another document,
Yeah.
that's Sarah's. One
So,
document.
based on what you just said, your tax certificate note is actually in there.
Probably,
That's what you just said.
yeah,
That's fine.
I was thinking of this other tax
No,
document
okay,
that
I
was
just wanna make.
in your
I
email,
wanna make clarity for them, that's all.
you won't see the tax. There was a tax form in that email that Scott originally sent out, that is not part of this document,
Correct.
that's what I was thinking.
Correct.
That there is a tax certificate.
No, that's right.
And a certificate of registration, but that's the one for Sarah.
Who's filled with forms you can't merge into a PDF with other PDFs, so that's why I always send them
You
separate.
mentioned that. in your-
Even though you don't have to sign them, we still share them, because it's part of the deal that. Somebody's signing, so you need to be aware of it.
Any other questions or?
No further discussion?
No.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Thank you all.
I will just pass this along to our 3 ripped up little stickies if you could sign. On where each one is listed.
And since we have 3 in the room, Brad, we won't have to send paperwork back and forth to you for signatures. We only need 3.
Very well.
So we'll
Thank
be
you.
okay.
Good.
Yeah.
Did you get your sidewalk shoveled, Brian?
You know, when we finished playing golf today, one of the guys said, "Look at the bright things. At least you don't have to shovel snow and get heat stroke in this heat." And he was right.
Wow.
Wait, how warm is it there?
It was 78 today.
Well,
32 here, we're having a heat wave.
terrible.
That's not bad.
Heat wave.
Well, it's been in the 30s here,
Wow.
which for here is cold.
Yep. Wow.
That's what I was just about to say.
Wow.
That wasn't me that was complaining, believe me.
All right, next agenda item is audit engagement. See. Maybe. We already found or. Entertain a motion and then.
I'll make a motion to approve the audit engagement.
Second. Are you open to including not to exceed 40,000? Are you open to including in your motion not to exceed 40,000?
Yeah, as written.
Yep, perfect, thank you.
45.
I wanna make sure.
Any further discussion?
Any questions for Penny? This is an annual thing that happens, right?
Yep.
I always like to remind people, particularly in light of some of the financial health things that have happened in Vermont with community electrics, that auditors work for you, not for us. We engage with them a lot, particularly her. It's your relationship, which is why you authorize the engagement.
Are the terms the same year to year? Like, I don't mean terms, I mean, their items, what we're gonna have them do, is this the same?
Pretty much, the only thing that I recall, and I don't know if that's, what you got, the one thing I did recall seeing is, the employee solicitation blurb in the engagement letter, apparently. So the gal that worked on the audit last year, she also worked on another utilities audit, and that utility swiped her up, so they, added this employee solicitation clause in the agreement.
Okay. Oh, I see, saying, oh,
Would you get, do you have your copy, would you get Carl to sign the government sign? As all right, you share, but you need someone to sign there?
Sorry, I'm trying to think where I put it.
Well, it's fine, I'm just, I wanna make sure that while we have people here, we do it.
Absolutely.
And then Brad, we'll get you, we'll get with you on their fraud inquiry, piece.
On the what piece, sir?
Fraud inquiry.
Oh, yes, yes.
Happens every year. The chair basically goes through the form on behalf of the board.
Oh,
There's
by the way, I
questions
did read through it. I'm sorry I didn't respond earlier. And I agree with Bob's answers.
from last year, okay,
Yeah. I mean, I read it all and
all right. Well, I'll get the document ready for you then, and then you can make any final edits and sign it and send it back, whatever, okay?
Oh.
Perfect.
can we do this electronically?
Yep, yeah, we can figure this out.
Okay.
how does the timeline work, Penny? I see there's a approximate begin date in here. And how to, control when it gets, before it gets to the time.
So, basically, who's got this? Oh, it's in the file, right? So they started, I think it's gonna be in March, and then usually what has happened, they come and do the field work. And they do some work and we go back and forth with questions and whatnot, but then unfortunately, I mean, and everybody's finding a shortage of employees, and especially in the accounting world and tax world. They jump off audits and they work on taxes. And so they work on, I think it's mostly, they have corporate taxes and then they also have just regular taxes, and so then they get back. To doing audit work with me, I think it was, I don't know if it's after April 15th or if it's a little bit later. And then it basically is like, if we give them a date, like we need to have this done at such and such a date, but it's also obviously dependent on. My workload as well, because.
Right.
The majority of the work is done when they're here, and I get them everything they need, but then they might ask follow-up questions, or if they need different schedules. Sometimes that part's very minimal, but then there's the management discussion and analysis that ends up going into the actual written report. That's a document that I pulled together. And I think that's basically it.
But I mean, is there a point in the year where we say we should not go past without having this completed?
I mean, I don't know if there's an actual, there's probably guidelines somewhere, I'm not really aware of them. I mean, I know way back when we used to have them done, in April. But, yeah, I mean, I think it
I
does.
just didn't know if there's something where you'd say, well, they're not upholding their contract because they didn't get it done within a certain period of time. And we need it by this period.
I mean, we haven't ever done that, like, it's been just more of a agreed upon date.
Yeah.
And more pushing them, but I know like the bond council, not bond, yeah, the bond group, like they like to have. An audited report, they like to have, like our budgets and stuff, so it's more about just working together with them and.
I think it used to be more rigorous, Carl.
Yeah.
But in recent years, there's fewer and fewer auditors generally, and then there's many fewer auditors willing to work with municipal governments and electric utilities in particular. So as a result, a company like KBS has a whole lot of us to do.
Yeah.
And so things tend to extend longer than they used to. Is that fair?
Yep.
From your perspective?
Yep.
Yeah.
And I think part of it is, we haven't pushed them.
Yeah.
Although I do think that if we pushed even more, then the rate itself would probably go up.
Yeah.
Okay.
You guys approved that, right? So. Did you-
No, we didn't vote on it.
Okay. Okay.
We got anything else to discuss on that? We can vote. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Motion passes.
Okay.
I was gonna say,
Yeah, that's right. So thank you for considering. We want to talk about the lease term, 3 day.
Item 8A.
Before you make a motion, I know you usually make it first, but just so I can describe it for you, so you can make the right motion. Basically, I'm assuming it's a subsidiary of the original company, but the name on the document that I would sign on your behalf is now going to be different than you authorized me to sign. You've already authorized me to sign, so to authorize me to sign the lease termination with a company called AIO Operating 3 LLC. I don't know what that means, but that's the name of the company that is now making the deal with the country club, which we would then be terminating the lease with. I need a motion basically to change the name on the authorization to AIO Operating 3 LLC.
AIO.
operating.
AIO Operating 3 LLC. Sorry, I couldn't make this up if I tried.
Yeah. What was that?
I'll make a motion to change the name on the document to what the town. But just.
Yeah. Perfect.
Okay, second?
I'll second.
Seconds. Any further discussion?
Apparently the motion is, I mean, not the motion, the closing is coming right up, because Tim Sargent let me know I'd have to go down and sign things soon. And that's when he alerted me to the fact that I probably need to ask you for some additional authorization to be able to do it. That's how I found out about it.
So I take it we haven't been paid yet,
Correct, because the closing hasn't happened.
so they're still paying the monthly rate.
I couldn't tell you what's been happening.
No, because they don't pay monthly, they pay annual, they pay that 2,400 as an annual number.
Okay, so they'll pay the whole 24, they'll pay the whole thing for 2025.
I would assume so, since closing isn't happening until 2026.
You know, when I talked to Dave McAllister, the treasurer. He said they're still getting a monthly check from Verizon.
Okay, so we should get our share of it. I'll confirm that. Yep.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Thank you.
Next item is other business. Fiscal year 26 budget development update.
Go Penny go.
So I handed out a budget for,
Just one.
okay. Right now, I apologize, I've only gotten water and sewer done, electric is close, but it's, just not quite there yet, I gotta.
We actually heard today on electric that we are gonna have a whole new power supply budget, so it's kind of good. She goes down with it, because unfortunately it's going down, not up.
Well,
So
I don't know if it will once we get our change in our,
it's changing a lot. is the
Yeah.
thing. You know, the version we saw today was down like 300 or 400,000. And then, but they didn't put enough growth in, we don't think, so we asked them to add growth back in. So if we have done the electric budget, she'd have to change it.
but on the first, 2 pages that the water department budget is first, basically for the water revenues, what I have done is I kind of take my year-end customer count and with my monthly rate, customer charge rate, multiply it by the number of customers and multiply by 12 to get that customer count. I did modify, the flat rate customer charge, numbers. Took them out of the flat rate and put them into, I think, a 1 inch, because I assume we'll be changing out, I haven't heard this from Kevin yet, but I assume we'll be changing out some meter pits in 2026. We do, yeah, well,
We'll be
that'll be for the second draft, but, what's that?
5/8,
No meter pits.
right, it'll be 5/8 by 3/4 pits.
Oh, the under 1 inch, yeah, sorry, it's, I put them in the right line, but not, I didn't say it right yet. In fact, I gotta modify this to say 5/8. And then I added some minimal water growth, just in the usage itself, so, on here, you see the 2025 projected, and then just like I said, a slight growth in 2026. Again, I haven't vetted these completely. I was just trying to get the data and make sure all my links worked, and between Kevin, Scott and I will go through these in more detail. The expense portion right now, I do have the 2026 payroll budget numbers put in. Again, when you have some employees that work on different departments, I try to do an allocation between the electric, water and sewer and hydro. And so I've kind of taken a stab at that, but again, we haven't gotten together to discuss all of these completely for, the different folks. I'm still waiting, I need to get some updated, like, testing and chemical numbers. Trying to think, need to still talk with Scott regarding potential outside services, whether we have any contractors or whatnot. I did, as I was looking at a file, I did realize I need to, still look at my insurances. The property insurance, I haven't seen anything updated on that, typically that comes in. I should be getting it soon, but the property insurance does, cover all 3 departments, so that'll be another area that I will update. Depreciation, again, it's kind of been, it was a wag based on what I think our capital budget is, but again, we need to talk as a team. Make sure that what I have in here is what's gonna happen. Allocation fee, I think I mentioned at one point in time when I was going over the September budgets, for like sewer, when we had the sewer allocation fee, I didn't actually budget revenue. But I had started to, as we started seeing more growth with the water, because it's so new. I didn't put anything in the budget, but we, may want to, I'm not sure. The other thing that this budget does not currently take into account is any, stuff related to the well and any grant income, so that we need to like flush out as well, exactly what's gonna happen there.
The key thing we have to figure out there is which part of that work will happen in 2026 versus 27 or 28. So we it's about a full $4.5 million project, but what's gonna actually happen in 26, because that's what we got to budget in 26, all right?
Again, just looking at these numbers and again, I need to get some updated expenses, but it is showing a positive net income. A slight one, but I will, when you turn to the next page, which is the operating cash flows for the water department, you will see, I put the debt on there, what I've put for capital expenditures, and again, I pulled it from a capital file that we have, but didn't actually talk with Kevin or Scott. Is the Harrison Ave upgrade, it's a $440,000 project, but 40,000 was listed for 26, we have Brigham Street. Again, I took this one on my own because it wasn't on the capital file, but we've been going through a 2-inch mechanical meter replacement program, so I made sure that was here, as well as the pits. Building remodeling, I think that's what we had on our capital file, and then the other thing that wasn't on the capital file, and again, is engineering.
I actually think that's what the first year of Harrison is.
Oh, okay,
We'll talk about that.
yeah,
I think you need it.
I know that the engineering has been,
Is that right?
we've done engineering and we've done water line and engineering water line, so again, we just need to chat about that, but you will see that that does give us, an estimated cash flow for 26 alone of a negative $350,000. We have 146 in the bank at the end of the year, so we do have a cash flow issue, which, you know, maybe take out a loan, maybe, cut something out, maybe have a rate increase, so those are some things that we need to talk about and figure out what we wanna do.
What's, just curiosity, the transmission under system expenses, transmission for town, why does that bounce around so much?
More than likely, it has a lot to do with, repair work, like, what am I thinking, help me out, water line issues, is that, would that be if there's, yeah, and
And you didn't project any rate increase in this at all?
this does not have any rate increase, correct, that is correct, yeah. To your point, Carl, services also, we see that as well, under services.
Yeah.
You'll notice hydrants in 2025 projected, there was a huge spike in 25. We had, some repair work. I think mostly by the Bijou, but there was some other stuff probably, so. So again, that's just the, kind of the first look, to give you some thoughts on like, where we might be going, and
I think
again,
last time we projected there'd be a, in keeping with previous discussions, that to support this, we definitely need at least a small increase. We'd rather do small ones every year than wait and do, you know, surprise people with something big. But I do think to Penny's point, we'll have to look at, if we're gonna advance some of these capital projects, we're gonna have to look at, you know, taking an expense of some period of time to make it work. What I would anticipate, we'll, you know, we'll have a dialogue about that, bring back something to you.
moving on.
Can you estimate a rate increase that would be reasonable, that would cover that amount?
If a rate increase isn't covering the cash shortfall,
No.
so,
Well, you could,
well, but.
it wouldn't be
It
pretty,
isn't one you'd wanna do, it's like a 25% rate increase.
I mean, how many customers, water customers do we have? It isn't 1,000, is it?
yeah,
But our operating revenues are 1.2 million, so if you have a 350,000 in balance, it's 25-30%.
So it's a combination of things that are.
I don't know what you said, but you're on wastewater, so.
Oh, sorry, I looked at the wrong line.
Yeah. Yeah, but Scott is right, it's a 27% rate increase to cover that cash flow shortfall.
So we wouldn't do it that way, that's why it'd be a combination of that to frankly make the operating revenue a little bit better, right? And then you'd cover the capital in a different way, but we gotta talk about that, so. It'll be a combination of pieces, and to her point, we might push a couple of these projects out of here. It's also a question of how much focus are we gonna have if we're starting to focus on that water system, the well field. Are we actually gonna be able to pull all this off? So we got that going, and we may have to start doing a lot of projects on our dams this year. We're gonna have a lot of capital projects going, so we're gonna have to talk about that too.
Hey, Scott, what do we have to jump through for hoops in order to have a water increase?
None, you decide.
Okay, I wondered that. Okay. We don't have any
Only elec-
agencies.
Only electric.
Okay,
For
thank you.
water and sewer, you guys determine the rate increases here.
Thank you.
So you'll allocate some of it from the flat rate and the
Yeah.
service connection, the other ones to the flow.
Correct.
Yeah.
We've done a number of things since I've been here, we said, okay, we're gonna have a 10% rate increase, and we're gonna put it on the customer charge, and we're gonna put it on the usage charge.
Mhm.
Or we said, no, we're just gonna put it on the usage charge, I mean, or just the customer charge, so.
And we'll make
The
a
problem
proposal.
is everybody uses less water, you're not gonna, come
Correct,
That's correct.
which is why when we originally went to the meters, we made sure that 60% of the revenue came from the customer charge.
We'll make a proposal to you on that, and you can then tell us if you like it or not.
Moving to the wastewater department, again, the theory was pretty much the same, I used year-end customer counts. By the rate that increased, customer counts just slightly as well as usage. or the customer account again was the meter pit, moving it out of the flat rate into the, 5/8 customer charge and usage. The other thing that I did do, which I forgot to mention on, the water is, just on the 3/4 inch line. That was only 9 months for 2025 for usage, so I did annualize their usage. Even though the first 3 months might have shown up somewhere else, I said, well, we'll leave that as some extra growth, uh. But in theory, all of this was pretty much the same. Saying we had the payroll got allocated. Still looking for some updated, like I need to get an updated,
What you don't have, right, is the increased cash from the contractor.
increased cost and expense and increased cost in the contractor for the
Yeah.
wastewater treatment facility, so.
We just got the 2026 contract today for the company that runs the plant, so it's up 3%, so she does not have that in there, because she didn't know it. Because it just came in today.
Just looking at, one of the things, I think I mentioned it when I was going over the September financials, we are. Handling Johnson sludge, so they pay us for that, so, I just need to make sure that the numbers that are in here that. I assume that we're doing that in 26 as well, so making sure that those numbers make sense. Again, same as like the water, the insurance, I just need to make sure that looks okay. And again, I really was just trying to rush today to get these pulled together, so I wanted to spend a little more time looking at the trending to make sure that I'm actually comfortable with the numbers.
And there's a lot of moving parts about the, I think maybe she said this, so she did just taught me about how cash is gonna move in and around as it relates to the pump station project.
I'll get that to the next page. Yeah. Nope,
Sorry.
nope. I said earlier that I wasn't typically like budgeting for sewer allocation, because it had been pretty consistent that we had revenue. 2025 is actually lower than it had been in many years. I did put some money in, I'm not sure, again, need to chat whether it makes sense to keep 50,000 in there, because 25. Where we're projected to end was only 65,000.
Well, they did do building in the village.
Correct. Or villager, yeah, anywhere where there's sewer, so again, I may wanna take that out after discussions with Scott and Kevin.
Yeah.
The sewer department does look better cash wise, we've had the sewer allocation money that's gone into CDs and money markets. And I'm pretty sure I need to update my debt service numbers on here. But as Scott said, the pump station. We're gonna be getting money, and we're getting money from like an SRF loan / grant, and I believe, and I need to study it a little further, I believe they'll pay us up front. And then at the time, the money is gonna be converted to a loan and grant. That's when we have to pay them back, but I wanna confirm that, otherwise we will be taking some money out of our CDs, which I listed the CD balances at the bottom. We're at 1.6 as of December. But we are covered under between the grant and any CD out of sewer allocation money, so that will cover that. But as far as like the capital expenditures go that I put on this statement is the Jersey Heights pump station. Then I put the 2026 portion because we've already expended some in 25. Elmore Street and Brigham Street, I think Elmore Street is aligning, but Brigham Street
Well,
is,
Brigham is a combined water and sewer, which.
Yeah.
Depending on what we do.
Yeah.
but it's not aligning, right? We're actually doing the pipe, yeah.
Replacement.
Yeah, so, yeah, our overall, again, I've got the overall cash flow listed as 176,000 positive, but it truly depends on what I end up confirming on that, SRF loan and how we can draw down on it. I think I can draw down, as soon as I pay the vendor, I can draw money down.
Now, that, number for Brigham Street, does that include repaving that parking lot,
Yeah,
the whole thing, or just
well,
repaving?
just where we trench, which
Okay.
is gonna be quite a bit of it.
Yeah, cause it's square, you're gonna be going all around.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's been on our radar for a while, but it's a squeeze worth the juice, you know, it's like 5 houses out there, businesses and. So yeah, that's out there. The Hare Street one was, you know, we're gonna try to switch to do that, but we call the stuff into well, it's gonna be a juggling act, see which we go after.
yeah, cause like Kevin said, it's combined, so in total it's 440,000. It looks like, I think, if I did my math right, but
And that asphalt's 12 inches thick.
That's what it is?
Oh, yeah, it's pretty close.
So they repaved it not that long ago.
Right, and when I floated the idea back by Eric Dodge, yeah, I thought he was gonna swing at me, so. So we'll see. And I might be able to work something with Mount Vernon Lodge to run the line of their property. Maybe. Which would save a lot of work. See,
but that's where we are at this point. I will be working more on these and also working on the electric. I am going out of town on the night of the 14th, and I won't be back until the 20th. So I'll be back in the office on the 21st, which is the day of the meeting. So I will give Scott what I have done. You guys will have it to look at. I am hoping that we'll have an electric draft in that board packet, so we'll at least have that to review and go over. But I would encourage you that if you have any questions or you think of something after looking at this that, you know, you shoot me an email and we'll look, you know, what about this, or did you give thought to this? Or run it through Scott, either way.
I think the plan is, go to the next draft at the next meeting, which we're having the second meeting this month. Then hopefully have you ready to vote on budgets at the first meeting in February. I think that's the tentative plan. Of course, if you're not ready, you're not ready, but that's at least our tentative plan. With this.
Sounds good.
Before we go on to the annual meeting thing, just so I can get Penny out the door, for the management report, do you have anything else you wanna tell them about?
Probably, but I can't.
Any update on this?
No, we did have another demo yesterday on NISC billing, the net metering. They definitely can handle a bunch of stuff, but they have very strict, like, you gotta do this, you gotta do this, you gotta do this, so I need to make sure that we can do that, and what we have, we'll be able to give them that. But no, I mean, I think that's progressing well.
Been holiday time, I didn't think you'd have a big list, I just wanted.
No, I can't even remember, I'm having work
Door.
on budget, so,
Alright, why don't you get out of here then?
Yeah.
We'll-
you're gonna
I'm gonna what?
get that document signed, where did I put it?
Which one?
Oh, that's really good.
Carl, what did I just do with
I
that?
don't think we made it.
No, I did not hand it to you, but it's right here somewhere.
You did that.
No,
You
did you want me to give it to? Off of it?
You just haven't signed it? You have it right there? Thanks, thanks, I did.
I didn't wanna interrupt him, so.
No, it's okay, just one signature. I think it's the governance on it, bro.
Wait, that's not right, hold on. I've lost it already, I started to pull it apart, and I know that's not it, this is like. I can't see, but it's, there we go. That's the bridge.
it's gonna look like your dick's over there.
That's for the audit. And you sign on the governance line that. If you're, I guess you should have, you already voted, so. Like that will give me any signs. that you
Yeah.
have it. If I have it, it's just gonna get lost. If you have it, it might too, but then I can say, you took it with me, I didn't, never touched it. Or was, well, witness. Oh, my goodness.
Cool, thank you.
Welcome.
Good luck, then. You go vote to increase from 3 to 5, next thing you know, there'll be a select board number, so good luck.
Yeah.
So, Until somebody gets off the board, will I get on that board?
There you go.
So.
Yeah,
See ya.
Just look at there.
Thanks.
Next agenda item is the annual meeting for 2026.
great, couple things to just chat about, one is, I think in the short time I've been here, every year it's been really obvious who to dedicate the report to. And this year it's not really obvious who to dedicate the report to, so I'm just, if you, and you don't need to tell me tonight, but if you have thoughts or ideas, or usually we just come to you and said, hey, it's pretty obvious, what do you think? And we've been like, yeah, and so, we're pretty open to ideas if you have them, and, so just feed them to me, you know, obviously, when you dedicate a report, you try not to alert the entire world, so that the person hopefully gets surprised a little bit, so.
Yeah.
But if you have ideas, let me know, and we don't need to beat it to death tonight, I just really wanted to get your brains working, cause it's not obvious to us this year.
Who was it last year now?
Last year was Frank Ferente.
Right.
No, it was Dave. Oh, it was Dave Mellon, that's right. You're right.
Thinking.
Nick McDowell one, too, who was it? What was it, John, or
John was the year before I came, and then it was the response
Jim
to.
Fontaine, or Jim? Yeah,
Well, you did, I think you did Jim, I think you did John Tilton,
John, Frank,
and then we did the response to the flood,
Whole
to
team.
the whole team.
Yeah.
And we did Dave Heller, I know we did Frank one year too,
yeah.
pretty short, last year, right?
No, Dave was last year.
Dave, or whichever one year, one the other. So it's not as obvious this year, so I just wanted to say that out loud. Okay, give it some thought. We'll talk, we'll find somebody.
Yeah.
There's plenty of deserving people out there. Just gotta think about who they are. So, that's all I really need to tell you on that. And you know, I'm gonna start working on our joint report, which always goes in the document, so. If there's any specific items any of you wanna make sure get in that report, just let me know, drop me an email or. Well, give me a call, drop me a text, happy to include things that you're interested in. I'll probably bring a draft of it next to the next meeting, whatever comes out of my brain, so.
Is there a date in April yet, or is it a certain day of the?
Oh, there is, I think is it the first Monday, or I don't remember what it is of April, it's either the first or second, I can't remember, but yeah, there is a date, I'll get it to you.
Okay.
I don't remember off the top of my head. We haven't got our checklist from Sarah yet, usually by now we have a checklist from Sarah Haskins that lays the whole thing out, so I'm actually I'm a little ahead of Sarah for the first time in my life. And then, I guess I'll keep number 3 for last, so, but you know, and we don't need to do this now, but again, discussion topics, in the last couple, after we've done the business, we've had a couple items just to update people on, you know, as a way to get word about things, and I figured Green River, all the investments we're gonna make in hydro once we get finished the licensing process, so leading to a bond bill at some point. You know, people are probably gonna be curious about all this merger talk, so I think we got plenty of things to talk about as we get closer to narrowing down, but I wanna make sure if you have other items. Those are the things that kind of came out of my brain when I wrote the memo.
I was thinking of maybe it's worth talking about what the, I guess the PUC or is driving, the ones that are driving us to operate in a certain manner fiscally.
Regulatory,
It might be a good thing to explain to people, and there's
Yep.
definitely a difference
that's great, Carl.
in moving forward and that.
And then the last one I had was really, I know in the manager's first budget, to the select board. You know, Brent has recommended that our zoning share go up, and I alerted you all to the fact that that was coming from 8 to 15,000 a year. I think that's warranted, 8 was set, 10 or 12 years ago at least, so. Costs have gone up, costs of the staff has gone up over time, so it's not, I think it's warranted. I definitely said, made sure that the manager knew that if that was gonna happen. That the services that we typically got in terms of keeping us aware of development proposals and things like that had stopped of late would need to be re-engaged, and. Since then, they have started to re-engage on those fronts so that we actually are aware of what's going on with applications for development. And then I think the question is, if we're gonna raise that amount, we have traditionally mostly raised that from the utilities that we run, because that information we get, to help us be aware of the developments that are coming up and the ability to engage in that to make sure that we get right of ways laid out correctly and all that had value to all of our utilities. And yes, there's a piece of it that's around the town plan and downtown designation and zoning bylaws. But as this is going forward, if the price is gonna go up, it struck me that we should have a conversation about whether that would be something we think we wanna put on the utilities as an additional cost, which is not where I would personally land. Or if, you know, if that should be something that we actually raise some village taxes for, you know, we raise 14,000 a year currently. It's not that I wanna raise taxes in the village. But the pieces around the town plan and zoning bylaws. Zoning bylaws more particularly that we do all the time, don't typically have much to do with the utilities. They typically are how growth is gonna happen. The town plan actually has an energy chapter in it, so you can argue that that has some, and it has a water, you know, utilities are littered through the town plan, so you can argue that that piece is related to the utilities in some way, and you can make a straight face argument. Some of the stuff around bylaws and those things really strike me as being more related to the way the village is developing, which has less to do with utilities and more to do with the village of Morrisville's cooperation and collaboration with the town. That would tell me that the more appropriate way, as we are increasing costs, is to put at least some of that onto the tax base. But that's something you'll have to decide. I just wanted to raise it at this point, so that you're starting to think about it. It looks like you had a question.
You know, the village used to have different zoning laws in town.
Right.
We don't have that anymore.
Correct.
And people in the village also pay a town tax, the same people, the same as the people out in the town.
Yep.
So why should the people in the village pay the tax twice?
I hear that, and I would say that the town would say, and people that live out of town would say, if the village gets a vote. And therefore can force the select board into certain positions and, you know, that we ought to pay for our piece of that. Or we should give up the authority and let the town just do planning and zoning and stop the combined process.
I mean,
That's what you would hear from some.
Yeah, but it used to be the zoning administrator was in here all the time answering questions.
Yeah.
And I could go in his office and ask him questions.
Yeah.
It doesn't work that way anymore. I mean, what's this,
So that's what I've talked to the town manager about the need for those things to be restored. If this is gonna go forward, and he has assured me that those things will be restored. That's why you saw the town planner in here recently presenting the bylaws early, and I think you're gonna see him wanna come and visit once in a while and talk to you. That I've been told that is going to be restored.
Cause back in the day, the village had its own highway department.
Correct.
And, you know, so we're paying the highway tax in the village, we're paying the highway tax in the town.
Yep.
We're getting taxed twice for the same thing. And I think somebody threatened to take them to court.
Yeah.
Because when they merged the two departments, everything, no, they didn't merge the two departments. Everything was so entwined that the village was buying stuff that wasn't even used in the village, but that's a long ago.
Yep.
And I'm looking at it as the same thing, but
Yep.
we'll deal with this when we have to.
And, you know, the argument on this case is that, you know, the village is the village, the town includes the area within the village and the area without. And so, you know, that's the overlay, and so, and you have. If you wanted to, if you know, if a set of bylaws was adopted by the select board that you disagreed with. And you decided to adopt a one-off bylaw, you could do that, and the planning and zoning office would be required to enforce it.
Okay.
Now, we've always been able to collaborate and avoid that, at least in recent times. But that, you know, we have joint bylaws, but they don't have to be that way.
I mean, not that long ago, there was different rules for Airbnbs or short-term rentals.
Yeah.
The town finally adopted the one that village adopted
That came.
5 or 6 years after it was in effect.
Yep. Yep. Well, I get it.
Right. Are they prepared to, show us where that number comes from? If it's going from 15
Yeah.
to 8 to 15,
So I don't think they have the data for that today. I had said, 6 or 8 months ago, when this first came up from a select board member and some others, that what I thought would need to be understood, which I think will be phase 2 of this dialogue. Right now, they're just trying to make their budget work. I said, it was like, well, you're not paying very much. And I said, yeah, well, if you wanna go that way, then we need to know, and the town and the village, what's the volume of permit fees that have been brought in the last 5 years? And then in the town, we get to keep all of them, and in the village, we split them 50-50 because we both have jurisdiction. And then we look at, how much that reduces each of our share, and then we should talk about what's a fair share of the balance, right? Some methodology like that is how you would do that. They have not been able to put those historic permit fee pieces together as yet, is what I've been told. And so really this year it was like, can we just take a first step in this direction? Because it's been very well documented publicly. They're struggling to find a few $1,000s here and there to try to make this budget work. And I said, well, as I told you a month ago or so at a meeting, I told them I'd bring it to you, and that if they wanted to represent that they had proposed that to us in the budget, they could. And that I wasn't promising what if anything you'd approve. That's why I'm raising it again tonight. And I got thinking more about it, and I was like, this should not entirely all, in my mind, the way my brain works, it should not entirely all be put on the utilities, because not 100% of the value derives to the utilities. It's totally fair to put some of it there, but not all of it.
I agree with that.
Yeah. Alright, no action needed tonight, they're all just being developed but as we start getting to town meeting, Sarah, one of the things Sarah's gonna say is, what are you trying to raise in the tax rate? And that's why I figured I'd better start getting you thinking about it. More to come.
Perfect, so you want to talk about on that one?
Yeah, for me, unless you have others.
Alright. No, next, agenda item is a management update.
Let's see, not too busy, but Green River, waiting for a couple pieces to come in, parts to come in for the governor controller, get that back on. Morrisville and Katie's Falls are running well. We've got about a half a dozen water meters change out now, the inventory freeze that lifted, I assume. I was gonna ask any of that tonight, but. And, I got notification from Mumley Engineering that they're looking at a seven 3-bedroom development just beyond the elementary school where Persicos used to live. So they've gotta get,
Right.
on Park Street. You go past the elementary school, pitch down the hill and it's in the road there. It's quite a ways down.
For the school, on the other side of the hill?
Yeah,
How close to the wells?
it's out well outside the
Okay.
protection area. So they've got to decide, they want municipal water, but, they've got to hear from, Denny.
Is it in the village?
Yeah, it abuts the school property.
Is that the one they got the 2 new buildings up there already?
Yeah,
Same project.
well, it's just before that, but the same.
Was it out in the houses before?
No, it's way
I've got a
up.
proposed driveway that's going right next to that old house going out back.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Okay.
So if Denny decides they need a hydrant out there, they're gonna have to build an 8-inch ductile iron line. 700-800 feet out through there. If not, then we've been going back and forth with them about a 2-inch meter pit at the start and then it'd be privately owned beyond it, so. That's on the horizon, maybe, on the waterfront and,
Important to note that is within the village, so it wouldn't be an expansion of other village. I know you're always interested in that.
but you guys would have to agree to. We come up with an agreement and right away easements and all that stuff, it doesn't, if you agree to.
I mean, are the right of way gonna be on the land that they're gonna build on, or?
Well, that's the other question I had for them too. Are they gonna require the road to be up to town specs. I mean, if they've got to get fire trucks out there.
If you put a fire hydrant in, we think,
Right, they should go hand in hand.
yeah.
And then the pipe would be in the road typically.
Mhm.
So more to come on that. That made
And how many houses?
seven,
Seven?
3-bedroom houses.
Affordable housing?
Actually, his focus is, he wants to just make family homes.
Yeah.
He's very against apartments and stuff like that. He says, I wanna try to make affordable homes that bring kids and regular.
Who's building?
It's, Chauvin. What's his first name now?
CCS.
Curse? No, it's, one of the young boys.
J. Starts with a J, right? JC something.
Yep. JC Management.
Yeah.
So that may or may not come to be. And fortunately, nothing really big on the sewer. Jersey Heights is on hold till Aprilish, till weather.
Yeah, I see they left their excavator down there. Yeah, they did with the winter.
Yeah, gonna rest, gonna have a rest. Take a break. They never did, I know he told you they were planning to do the cutover, it got too cold too quick, they didn't do that, that'll happen in the spring, it'll be probably the first thing they do. They'll start up when the ground thaws enough to get in there and do that.
What kind of siding in that building?
God, what was the issue we had with that? Was it the trim?
It was the color issue. The trim, it was the color issue, because you couldn't get the color that the neighbor wanted in enough supply, so I think you were, but what type,
White and painted.
but he was asking what type. Is it like, is it cement board?
I think it's cement board, yeah.
Yeah, so, but,
Yeah, I guess isn't that part of that storage district? So it has to be,
What's that?
I think that falls in that historic district of the town, so it has to meet the historical.
yeah, we got all the permits, we're good.
But the neighbor's got a say in.
Yeah, we asked them, they went down with a color palette and asked them what
Okay, good.
he might like down there, so.
Yes,
Keep the neighbors happy.
Yeah.
yeah. Kevin and I thought about it when the contractor asked me, like, why don't we just try to keep him as happy as we can, let him pick, what do we care what color it is? So, anything else, Kevin?
No, but
You
you
got
got any questions?
Of course, there's a couple small weeks in there because of the holidays and such, but we've been working on inventory. Of course, right in the middle of inventory, we had the windstorm. That kind of has struck us a little bit for a few hours during the day, but it didn't last any more than our working days, our working hours, should I say. We've had a few outages with Hyde Park. Still, done inventory checks, we've done some plowing, helping the meter department reading meters, vehicle maintenance, sub maintenance. We've done a few transformer changeouts due to solars, again, as the end of the year was coming to an end. Just so you guys know, I sent out the truck bids yesterday to 3 truck dealers. And that's about it.
I gotta ask, my father lives in Hyde Park, what was there was another one right after the big one. The transformer and the fuse, with the fuse again, or?
A couple of times.
Curious.
Yes, it was both. It was the very last time it happened, we finally actually was able, then it was out, we actually put in what the electrical engineer advised us, so we had to raise that fuse quite large.
I think we had told you last time, the end of the story was that we had finally got the data recorders on.
Yeah.
And so the last time we had it fixed on, we actually had the data and the engineer was able to say, was it 145 you went to?
140s.
140s. So it shouldn't happen again. He did have a small problem with voltage after that, because the distance from sub 5 to the last person on their line was too far. And they were starting to have low voltage issues, so he had to bump up, make it work.
Yep, I adjusted our regulators at sub 5.
Yep.
A few volts, not to interrupt our customers, but to give. Sounds silly, but to give 3 volts out there makes a big difference on the underlying system, just because we're much further away to their customer than their substation, so. They were running a little low, staying out of compliance, so we adjusted it and everything's okay right now.
Yeah.
Perfect.
The holidays are done with, so I did I did get in contact with the contractor that hopefully will be dealing with this transformer. Holidays are done, so he contacted me today, we're buttoning up a few things.
And again, we're not paying for any of that here. Any time that our team spends is reimbursed to us and any contractors is reimbursed. And anything we're involved in, we get paid for. Yeah.
So what was the time frame we had for how long we're gonna do this?
We didn't actually have a time frame. I suspect in Hyde Park, I can't imagine it's less than half the year because. You know, the investigation from the state is not supposed to be done until around April.
Okay, but when we originally signed on to this, like, there was a time limit, wasn't it?
Not on this one. I think, cause we've gotta figure out like, when are they gonna be allowed to do anything by the state? Right now, they can't really spend any money on anything. So, but I would expect they'll know sometime in April and then they'll either have to start hiring somebody or. I mean, there's a possibility the state's just gonna say you're not gonna be allowed to exist anymore and you're gonna be told they gotta find somebody to merge with. I mean, I don't know which outcome is most likely. If it's the former one, then they can start looking for a manager, and if it's the latter one, then our involvement might trail on for a little longer, cause they'll have to figure out the whole merger thing at that point.
You know, I wouldn't be in favor of us merging with them. I mean,
That's a conversation.
acquiring them, yes, merging with them, no.
Correct, well, I get that, so when I say merger, I mean about 15 variants of the term. Everything from
Okay.
operating agreements to, a subsidiary corp that actually ran it to a merger to an acquisition and whether that's with us or Johnson or DEC or who, like, I'm pretty agnostic about it as it relates to, Hyde Park, personally. That's something we can talk about though, if that becomes a path that is on the table. And a lot's gonna come down to what happens with their debt and out of the investigation, what does the state say about, as you know, at least as it relates to their electric utility. We are at the pleasure of the state, we have a franchise, and so if they decide to pull the franchise. The state has a lot of authority to decide whether or not we get to exist or not, any of us. So, the state and the public statements from the state is that the goal is to make them healthy enough to be their own thing again. And it kind of depends on what they learn out of this investigation, whether that remains the position of the state.
Now, they still have all the same trustees?
Currently, they have the same trustees. So. So building on this, so this is turned into now, not surprisingly, the legislature wants to get involved. So the PUC chair and the commissioner of the Department of Public Service and Ken Nolan from VEPSA and myself will all be testifying next week around the broad topic of financial health of, it's being specified as municipal utilities writ large. It's really about Hyde Park and any others that have had trouble. But they're also inviting VEC and WEC. I don't think they've invited GMP. But so it's sort of, you can kind of see that the potential for this thing to spiral is to kind of sweep everybody up in the reviews is occurring. The department had already said they were gonna review every single muni. The commissioner has said that publicly, and I think that's gonna happen. And now the legislature is starting to want to dip their toe in the water, so I'll be down there next week, next Thursday. For that process, and we'll see where it goes from there.
Now, what's going on with Hardwick? We're on the subject.
Hardwick's doing fine, we had a first meeting, Brad and I met with their board chair, Mike Ambrosino, just to lay out, this kind of 3 to 10 or 12 options, so that, one, so they could actually, before he went off to the warms of Florida, that they could look each other in the eye and know each other a little bit as chairs. And we did tell them we'd like to have a new chair coming this spring. And then just to start, engaging in this conversation about what would collaboration in different ways look like between the utilities.
I mean, I see they're looking for a controller, right?
Yeah, they're controlling.
They're looking for a manager.
They're not looking for a manager yet, because they want to see how these.
No, because
correct.
Yeah.
So that, you know, if it turns out that we're that. After a couple of meetings, that there's genuine interest in some sort of merger. Then I think they would not start looking for a manager until that played itself out. If either party says, yeah, we're not so interested in this, then they would start looking for a manager. That's what I would
And
expect.
don't we have a time limit for how long you're gonna stay there?
We don't have a time limit in that agreement because we knew when they asked us that they wanted to first have a conversation about merger.
Okay, because of, when we
First
did it
time we
last
did.
time, we did.
Because it was very clear that it was in temporary, they wanted to hire a manager.
Mhm.
This time, the reason they brought us in is because they wanted to actually not have a manager, they wanted to have a dialogue about possible merger. And they thought clearing the decks enabled that conversation better. So that's sort of what's next there. So yeah, so that's going on. We do have, I know you all have been interested in both. Thank you. Both, cyber and physical security. So a federal agency coming here tomorrow, CISA.
Yeah.
You guys probably know them, and they're looking at our building here and sub 3. And I think sub 5, so they're going to 3 locations with us.
Where's sub 5?
This one up behind Tractor Supply, Beltram Hill.
Probably, okay.
Yeah, so they're gonna look at those 3 places for us and give us some recommendations about how to improve physical security and, you know, something they offered and we decided to sign up for. We were obviously already thinking about the physical security here in the office, because I thought we were doing a renovation but we've also talked about it, particularly about sub 3, with some of the things that have gone on around the country, around, you know, people deciding it's a good way to disrupt power, and not get caught, so. We'll see what they say, we're not sure what we'll hear from them, but we're gonna spend some time with them tomorrow, so I want you to know. Also have a potential contractor coming later in the month to start talking to us about. How others around the world have created really good enhancements in production out of their hydro plants with control technologies. So it's a contractor we worked with before. And so she's gonna come up and he started dialogue with us about and how we can start getting more out of all these plants if we make some investment. You know, we used to, when we manned those plants 24/7, we produced about double the amount that we produce today. Now, some of that is the amount of water available. It's different, you know, from 2000 to 2026, right? So it's not all because of that, but it literally went in half. Same permit, same everything, went in half. So will we get it all back with control technology? No, but, well, her work in other places has demonstrated we get a lot of it back. When we do basically rounds once a day, and if 5 minutes after we're there, the trash racks load up. We're not getting much production the rest of that day, are we? So there's simple things like that, you know, you can have both monitoring and automation that can help us. So we're gonna at least find out, you know, how much does that cost? What's that look like? And part of the reason for that is if we have all these improvements to make once we get our FERC licenses, that we're gonna be forming capital. If we have to add 5% more capital to be able to get another 15 or 20% production, I think those numbers will work. Right, so I just wanted you to know we're starting that process. And the last one I wanted to just point out, I think we've talked about this in the past, but. So I think, you know, there's a long history between the village and LCPC. And you were the last rep we had on LCPC. And I think we've seen recent times between the update of the town plan, which went much better this time. And then their work to help us get this $3.2 million, that things are in much better shape from a relationship perspective. So at some point, not tonight, because it's not on the action agenda, but I'm interested in your perspective of if you think we should put somebody back in that appointment. It could be any of you, it could be me, it can be whatever you want, it costs us nothing. It's just an appointment, so I just wanted to raise it for you all, you know, because we're were conspicuous by our absence. And there was a reason for it, and I don't know if that reason still exists.
I was the town's representative.
Oh, you were not ours, okay.
I was not the village
Okay, I
representative.
didn't know that. We are allowed to have one as the village. So just something for you to think about. If you think you'd be interested in that, then we can deal with that in the next meeting. If you're personally interested. If none of you are interested and you would like to send me, that's fine. You know, whatever makes sense for the village.
Well, it doesn't have to be a member of the trustees.
That's why I said it could be me, if you wanted it to be.
Okay, because I think the delegates from the
Could
town,
also be-
none of them are. I mean, at one time it was Sarah Atkins and Todd
I
Thomas.
think right now is Judy and Brent.
Oh, they're on it now?
Kevin,
Brent is on it, and I believe Judy still is, but she's not.
Okay, because when I left, she had been a select person.
Yep, Judy Evans.
Yeah, she had been a select,
Yeah, but she isn't now.
and then she wasn't, but she was still on the board, and the other one was, I think he was a fireman, I can't remember his name.
And it could also be a member of the community. It
Yeah,
doesn't have
that's
to
what I'm
be
getting at.
You or me, I just wanted to point it out that you have a seat you could fill. And there was a reason you didn't want to for a while, and my sense is those reasons have passed. But I don't, that's for you to judge, not for me, it's mine to say, hey, you wanna think about this? I'm not being lobbied, by the way.
Makes sense. What is it, just attend the meeting once a month or something?
That's what they mean.
They meet.
Yep. So some of you to think about. And that's all I had.
Right, I got, next item is any other business to come before the meeting? Anybody got anything? And next is entertaining motion to go into executive session.
I move to go into executive session on the VSA 313A1A, B, and E. Premature disclosure for which will disadvantage Morrisville Water and Line.
second,
And I move that the general manager and management team be included in the executive session, items B and E, and also the general manager be included by item A.
Second. Motion made, seconded, any further discussion? All in favor?
I,
Okay,
6:52.
all right. So,
All right.
I think we've got some action items coming out of the executive session. First is to approve a 3-year union contract.
Have you got the recording back on?
Yeah, I did.
Okay. I make a motion to approve the new union contract, 3-year new.
I'll
Union
second,
contract for the brother, light company.
Great.
I'll second,
Any further discussion?
At the tap.
Hearing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Motion passed.
All right, the next one is to authorize the manager to provide a bonus as discussed.
I'll make a motion to authorize the manager to make bonuses as discussed.
second,
Any further discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
aye,
Aye.
And then the next one is to authorize the manager to provide temporary pay increase to select employees due to impacts of assisting neighboring communities.
Motion to authorize the manager to adjust the
Okay,
pay for employees helping to manage the adjacent community select
keeping temporarily.
temporarily.
second,
Any further discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
aye,
Aye. Passes.
I think the last one is to increase the general manager's salary consistent with the percentage for non-union employees.
Motion to increase the general manager's salary consistent with the increase in the union got for the union employees.
Second.
Any further discussion? All those in favor?
I,
Aye.
Thank you very much.
Make a motion, we were,
Second,
Motion to adjourn?
motion to adjourn.
second.
All right, all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
And it's 6:55.